Welcome to the milk bar. 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 Welcome to the milk bar.
Hi, welcome along to episode 698 of the Milk Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever. And coming up on the show this week, we've got music from Alex Vann, hearing about his brand new album, You Shine. We meet two of the cast of Peter Pan from Bilston Operatics that's on stage at the Grand this week. We'll be finding out as well about the Joe Loss Orchestra, who are appearing at One Born Civic. That's on the way. Alexandra Burke is along to let us know how she loves having photos printed around her home. And on top of that, we'll also be hearing from Rod Bissett all about the latest from the Grange players. That's on the way on the show this week. Peter Pan will be on stage and in the air around the Grand Theatre in Wolverhampton, courtesy of Bilston Operatics, from the 8th through to the 12th of November. I'm joined now by Peter Pan himself, aka Fergus Edwards, and Zach Hollingshead, who is being Smee. How are you doing? You good?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Thank you.
Well, all good here. So, Peter Pan, it's a good, fun one. And this is a bit festive. You're basically setting the scene for the Christmas period, aren't you?
Indeed. Yeah, it's a big weight on my shoulders, but I mean, I'm excited to do it. Very excited.
Now, obviously, Peter Pan is renowned for his flying. Now, we know that in the real world, Zach has an interest in animals and flying creatures. Have you been to the zoo to see how you actually fly, or is it all going to be reliant on fairy dust?
I have been to the zoo and I haven't been flying myself yet, but very soon we're going into the theatre and we will be flying. So I'll have to teach them. You have to tell me how to do that, actually.
Like I myself.
Yeah. It'll be pulling the rope, aren't you?
Well, I could always bring some of our trained birds to pick him up.
That would work. I'm convinced already. But Peter Pan, great role to play, and it's it's one of those where you get to be the boy who never grows up. And does that sum you up already?
I think so. I mean, to be honest, Peter Pan has been a very difficult role to play because, at the start, I just thought, right, he's a boy and he's cheeky and that's it, that's done. But going through the motions, he's got problems, he has got issues. And so it's been very tricky to combine that. So obviously I've watched Peter Pan again, and I've seen some shows. But going through the motions of Peter Pan, it's been very difficult. But I think cheeky
with issues. You're playing
yourself. Cheeky with issues
Yeah.
is me. So
it covers it, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah.
But let's not go into what issues you're going to have being Smee then, because you get to be occasionally evil.
Occasionally evil, yeah. But we're Dan Smith and we're trying to provide a little bit of comic relief through the show as well. This one's got all the beautiful numbers. The music in it is really, really stunning, and Ferg sings it really, really beautifully. So those guys get all the nice music. So I guess our job is
we'll allow him to have the comedy. That's
a bit of comic relief, yeah.
But I mean, it is good fun to be part of. And I think the other problem we're going to have is, I mean, Zach, you stand next to the boy who never grew up. You always seem to be looking younger these days as well. I'm not entirely sure how you do it either.
It's the Botox, darling. Botox.
Oh, that's every time.
Don't tell anybody.
But it does get to be fun. And I think Peter Pan, it's a nice traditional tale, isn't it? It's one that we've all grown up with. I mean, it's more than 100 years old now, so even people as old as the hills have grown up with it. And I think the way it's kind of evolved to still tell a tale which is relevant today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's the show we're doing. It follows the same lines as Peter Pan that we all know, but I mean, the songs are different, and it does take a different twist on the show. But it's all the original stuff is still there for everyone to love and enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what people are expecting is all there, but there's also new elements, and as Ferg's saying, completely new score. We've got an incredible set. We've got a full orchestra. We've got flying, obviously, special effects, costumes. It's a spectacular show.
Yeah,
and a human-sized dog, I'm hoping.
Well, it's our dog is called Bear.
He's a lovely, slobbery little, not little. He's a
huge.
big, massive. He's lovely though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah.
So we get to meet basically the whole family, including Wendy and the gang, when it comes to bringing the show to life. And shout out to some of the other cast, because these are all names that we will know from the brilliant amateur musical theatre scene we have in the city.
Yes, yeah. As I said, we've got Dan Smith as Hook. Amy Frost is playing our storyteller, providing narration all the way through the show. Maddie is playing Wendy. Who else have we got in our show?
Oh, they need to mention anyone else.
Jet Austin Richards as Michael, Joseph
right.
Bowen as John, Lydia Hackett plays Mrs. Darling, and there's a good cast. You could tell I was reading that as well. But it's, I mean, the further fun bit is you've got Laura Canadine, who's done the brilliant choreography in this too.
Oh, she's awful. She's terrible.
I'm standing up for Laura.
No, she's great, and she's a joy to work with. We've done loads of shows with Laura. She's been the producer for Bilston for more years than she probably cares to.
More years than you think was possible based on her young years.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. But it's great to be back, because Laura's a friend to us as well, not just the boss, not just the boss of the company, you know, in terms of production, but her choreography, her direction. She's brought all her skills to the table for another spectacular show.
Well, we expect nothing less from any of our local groups. Bilston being, as ever, one of the groups that contains so many stars, so much talent. And I'm just saying that, just looking at you two, I mean, there's a huge amount of talent just there. And the rest of the stage is going to be full of the stuff too. 01902 429212 is the box office number for the Grand Theatre. You can get online at grandtheatre.co.uk to get your tickets that way. And of course, you can check out the Bilston pages on Facebook and online too.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and Instagram. We're big on Instagram these days. We've got 12 followers.
Right. Well, we will expect to see that increase throughout this run, mostly just because of Ferguson leggings.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. No one will say anything else, really. I mean, I've done 2 shows with Bilston, both times leggings.
And the thing is, in his leggings, he has to be hoisted up on these harnesses, and we've got 2 words, and it's moose knuckle.
Let's not have that thought. I've got to have my dinner in a bit. Right. Thank you, boys. Have a great time. Break a leg on stage. Don't break your harness. And we look forward to seeing you at the Grand from the 8th through to the 12th of November.
Thanks,
Amazing.
Jason.
Thank you very much.
Whenever I interview Alex Vann, I have to mention the fact that I first interviewed him in the 90s. He doesn't look any older, although his wigs aren't as good as they used to be. He joins me now with a brand new album. Hello, sir.
Hello. Yeah, okay.
I'm good. And I've really enjoyed listening to your music for all this time. The number of different gigs, events, radio shows, and podcasts that we've done together. It's in the 20s because there's that much good stuff about. And you know, I've seen your work popping up all over the place, up and down the country. Your artwork on other people's albums. It's just been a crazy time. And of course, you designed my podcast logo for me. I have to get the thanks out of the way first. The important bit is, though, there's a new album, and it has been doing rather well in just over a week since its release.
It's all right, yeah, it's going quite well. I'm very pleased with it.
So tell me about You Shine.
You Shine is a proper labour of love, I would call it. It's been a while since my last CD, which was back in 2014. So that's 8 years ago. And since then, I've been working on this, really. So what I wanted to do was slightly different, because I felt that all my recordings before were kind of very acoustic based and quite demo-ish and raw, which I love. And don't get me wrong, I think that's fantastic. But I just wanted to do one album where I pushed the boat out, you know, and sort of had a lot of production, a lot of different instruments, a lot of different musicians involved, and really went to town with it and create a sound that I felt I'd been going after for years and years and years. And You Shine is it.
Well, coming on here, you visited all of those elements before, though, and I seem to recall there wasn't there an epic 4-album set that we had, which had got various levels of studio work in it too. So this is you having enjoyed doing bits of that in the past, and then, as you say, absolutely going for it the whole hog this time.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was Silhouettes and Pirouettes you're talking about. It was volume 1 to 4. They were all recorded at home, you see. And so I always think, well, I love to work with other people, but quite often when you're a musician and a solo artist especially, you do tend to get sort of insular and you work on your own a lot, which again is great, don't mind that. But sometimes you benefit from other people's ideas as well, and particularly going into a studio like M2, who have got like 2 fantastic people to work with, 2 producers. Really push you to your limits, you know, and think of different ideas, and then it's all about the arrangements, all about the orchestration, because I've got string sections on this as well.
And do you learn new things about your song when you do that?
All the time, yeah, definitely. So just to explain a little bit of the process over the last 8 years then, because I started recording this on various devices, and one of my go-tos was the Zoom, not this Zoom, but the Zoom Corporation company do like hard drive multi-track recorders, portable studios really.
Actually, I've got one just over here, and it's in its box. I've just dropped something, but there's one in there, and it's amazing what you can get on 8 tracks, isn't it?
Well, mine was 12 tracks, I think, and yeah. So really, it's just a step up from those analog devices we used to know in the 90s. You know, the tape,
the Tascam, the tape. I think the 4-track tape machine that we had. Oh, we had one at school. That's how I know about these things.
A lot of damage with that as well. They could do a lot if you know how to use it properly. You can.
Well, you dropped it on your foot as well. They were heavy.
Lots of damage there. But so yeah, so it started on there, and then I had a crisis. I did exactly that. I dropped it and cracked the motherboard, so that was not doing anything. So I had to buy an exact replica of that off one of these sites I won't name, but
it was eBay.
It was eBay, and picked it up and managed to swap over the hard drive. So I managed to save all my demos, thank God. And then bought a Mac last year. So I opened up a whole new world of GarageBand, which before I thought was a bit of a gimmick, you know, and not really worth looking at, until I realised it's fantastic. You know? Everything that I wanted to do, and it was like, oh man, like a kid with a new toy.
And it's free. It's included. Well, it's free with the Mac, but yeah.
No, I can't believe it. I thought I'd had to spend thousands on a DAW, but I didn't have to. No, so then I managed to get all the stems off, which is something new to me. I'd never worked like that, because the studio were asking for stems, which is basically each recording part, every part of your song. And some of the songs have got multiple parts, like you know, double figures, so quite complex. And then take them all into the studio and say, there you are. Work with that. And one of the interesting things was actually about the drums, because again, sort of being on my own, I'm not a drummer. I don't have a drum kit, so I tend to use drum machines. And I didn't realize that you could I could work with Nick, who's the drummer in my band. After I'd recorded the songs, I thought we'd always have to start with drums first and then do bass. I work up that way that we used to do with rock bands in the 90s. They said, so long as your drummer could play to music, then he could play along to the track after you've recorded it. And that's exactly what we did. So it was working.
And you can tweak things these days anyway, as a bit, can't you?
It's fantastic. And then the songs that have got drum machine on, because there are a few of those on the album as well, they've sampled Nick's bass and snare, so it still sounds like a live kit. And so
it's still Nick as well, which is the good thing. Yes,
yeah,
it presents across the album.
Yeah, something weird. It sounds like it all belongs to one album. And I'm really pleased with it, because I like to have an album that's got lots of light and shade, you know, lots of different things on it. For example, White Album by the Beatles, for example, you've got Helter Skelter on there, which is rock and roll, heavy rock really. And then you've got Blackbird, which is the complete opposite end of the spectrum. So on my album now, I've got some things that are very poppy, there's some rock on there, and then you've got the acoustic things as well.
How did you manage to get just to one album with this? Because again, Silhouettes and Pirouettes, there's a reason it was 4 albums. You are, I think, prolific is an understatement when it comes to your songwriting at times. You do love to put pen to paper and come up with some amazing work.
What had happened is, over the years, I've been involved in different projects. For example, the Charlie Grigg projects, which was about the Black country artist who nobody knew about. You know, he worked in the bedroom upstairs, but he crafted all the Desperate Dan characters and Corky the Cat in the Beano and the Dandy comics that you and I remember. And he lived in the Black country, and nobody knew that. You know, the kids were walking past his house every day. Didn't realise that the person drawing comics was upstairs. Sadly, he had dementia later on in life. And so I got involved with the projects about that, and I wrote 2 songs. So that was like one thing. And then another story was that I'd gone for a run, and I'd found this, you know how they leave flowers sometimes when there's been a terrible accident. I'd found this Christmas tree, which I was intrigued by because it wasn't Christmas.
Mm.
And then there was a plaque dedicated to these two girls, you see. And then I went home and researched, and I found out this terrible tragedy. And so I wrote a song about that to celebrate their lives, really. It's not a depressing, morose song, but it was, I found out about their characters, and I thought it'd be nice to celebrate that. And so, and there was other things as well, and different things I got involved in. There was one in Sneed in Walsall. I got involved in a project about that, and the residents of the estate put some words together for a poem, and then I put some music to that. And so there was quite fragmented, really. And at the end of a few years, I thought there's all these different things that I've been involved in, but I haven't actually recorded them or put them in, in the same place together that people can enjoy. Because I think that's probably a thing that happens now in the world of streaming and internet, that things are a bit more fragmented and people stream and download as they feel,
Well, they look at an album, they see the one that's most popular and probably only download that and the next one down sometimes, don't they?
Yeah. So, and also with social media, it's like, oh, here's a YouTube video, or here's a, a Facebook video or something like that. And it's clips, all the time clips. Whereas I like things that are solid, it's like things that you can put in a package and say, this is, something that I believe in and I want to share with the world. And that's really what the reason was. It was trying to gather all these things together. I'd done some songwriting as well with a guy called Carl Hodson. Mm-hmm. And they were very sort of sketchy ideas. You get your little phone out and you record things that just come off the top of your head. Mm-hmm. And you forget about them. And then all of a sudden you accidentally come across them. And there was quite a lot of songs like that. And there was 3 that I chose for this album again, because I thought they can be worked up. They're a bit different. Because again, it's not just me writing, it's working with somebody else who might have a different view, a different idea. Mm-hmm. It's always good to sort of collaborate.
Well, we have a whole album of amazing work. Infinite Universe. Tell us a little about the track we're going to hear.
I'm holding it up, look, James.
Is it modelling the album again?
Camouflage against my shirt, but there's it. Infinite Universe was one of those social media things. So actually it started with a trip to New York, as you do, as you go to...
Casually, yeah.
Casually just flew off to New York for inspiration, ended up at the Natural History Museum, which has got the Hayden Planetarium attached to it. Mm-hmm. Was just in there, always heard about it, and heard about people going to planetariums. I thought, well, not really. I'm not a geek like that, I'm not really into space or anything like that. However, when I went into this show, this 360-degree extravaganza, and explained how the stars in the universe work, it just blew me away. I just thought, this is incredible, and how tiny we are, in this universe, and how infinite the universe is. Mm-hmm. So I came home with these ideas, and I've got to write something about this. It's so profound, it's so important. Put it out on Facebook as a demo, and I said to people, if you've got any ideas about words or where it should go, or a title, and people fed back, in the comments, and the title came from that comment. And so it was a collaboration, I guess, with the public in a way, and really pleased the way that came out.
And we will listen to it in a moment or two's time. However, before we do, let's have a full plug for the album and where we can find it, and of course a bit of a back catalogue, which will be out there as well.
Yes, well, this is the album. Can I just also mention the artwork very quickly?
Yeah, the fellow who did it is quite good.
It came from, I've got this company called Real Arts Workshops,
yep.
And we do work with community groups and charities and all sorts of people, educational groups, all sorts. And then one of the things that we do is this dot painting, which the Australians and the Africans and other Indigenous people do. And it's quite effective. You get a black piece of paper, and you can either use acrylic paints and a cotton bud and just, make patterns that way, mm-hmm. or a Posca pen, advertising again, like a pen that's very opaque. Mm-hmm. You use the nib, obviously, to create a thing. So this was the drawing that I did on a online session, mm-hmm. with a community group during COVID. And the group made their own, and this is a sample that I made, and I thought that's quite a nice image, so I've used that on the cover, and there's some examples here of what other people have done.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, we have a lizard, and a person with it. So yeah, I mean, great for that, and we can find that online as well, can we see more of that?
If you go to my website, alexvann.net, if people want to do their own version of a drawing as well, they can send that to me, find me via the website. Yeah, that'd be good.
And be very much like the gallery off Take Heart back in the day.
Yeah,
the Vision on. Yeah. So Alex Vann, we always have to mention, has 2 N's on the end of it. So alexvann.net, check out the details there. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, sir. Thank you again for joining us, and we're loving the new music.
Thank you for having me.
Most of the universe is made up of dark energy. And we're at the center of all that we know and can see. But what do you do when the planets start to fall? Like heaven couldn't come without a sense of home. If only know it's real. All we know is how we feel. An ocean is just a collection of separate drops. The minute you realize a dream, the second it starts. So what do you do when the heavens open up like teardrops from the sky? And no one asking why we ever came to be. Why are you different from me? Most of the people are beautiful, radiant souls. And nobody knows of your story when no one's been told. And what do you do when the walls start to fall and your world comes crashing down? Your memories all around and round, we seem to go. Where it stops, does
Golden Celebration for the Joe Loss Orchestra on Friday, the 11th of November. It's taking place at Wombourne Civic Centre. To tell us more, I'm joined now by Todd Miller and also by Leslie Roberts Armitage. Hello to you both.
Hi.
Hiya.
Right, so first of all, Todd, we will start with you. Your involvement with the Joe Loss Orchestra goes back some time, as we say, and I think your first TV appearance with them is in 1974. But give us a bit of the background to this story and the amazing music you've been sharing over the years.
Well, I joined in 1972, which means that this next year now I've been in the Joe Loss Orchestra for 50 years, which I don't know where it's gone, to be quite honest. I joined in Blackpool. They did a very long season, 4 months. He never told me that I got the job.
So Joe sort of teased you, led you on, let you play, and then finally gave you the gig.
50 years. It's the longest. Yeah, exactly. But it's the longest audition on record.
Absolutely.
I joined in 72, and I've been with Joe, 50 years, but I was actually with Joe 18 years before he became ill. And in 1989, he asked me to carry the orchestra on because I'd been with him so long on the front of the orchestra. So I grabbed it with both hands, and I've been here ever since. I've been band leader for 30 years. I can't believe it.
But I mean, the part of it is the music that you're keeping alive, bringing to life, and the way that sound inspires so many people. And I think that's a massive part of it, isn't it?
Joe Loss philosophy. It's not like people think where it's strict tempo dance music. It's been variety. He plays the music always played the music of the day, and he always emphasized on entertainment, not just going through the courses and playing the music. We all had to entertain the people, and that's why it's lasted. That philosophy, variety, and value for entertainment.
Yeah, and I mean, Joe appeared with Derek Jameson on TV back in the day, and it kind of officially handed over the reins. So, although you say the apprenticeship's got on, he made it clear that he wanted you to continue to bring this music to life. And Leslie, tell us about your involvement in this amazing event we've got coming up on the 11th of November.
Yes, I was with the band from 1980 to 86. And I left in 86 after, a great time. And then I've been coming back nearly every year as a guest singer. And it's gone on from then, really. So it's happened, it's been like 41 or 42 times now, I think, that the Colton Hills dance has been going on, because obviously I was a pupil there. So that's still amazing. I'm still amazed. I'm still doing it.
Yeah, but very much like Todd's 50-year apprenticeship, you've really been the guest, even though the regular all that time.
Exactly, yes. Yeah.
And I think it's part of that, not quite casual approach, but sort of the relaxed way of doing this and bringing so much talent into one place. It really has fed this on and kept it going for the 50 years.
It's such a fun night, and as Todd just said, it's the variety of the music. I mean, everyone wants to go and have a sort of do the ballroom dancing. But these days, everyone also wants to have a party. So there's a party atmosphere added on there as well. So you get the whole thing with the band. You don't just get, the strict tempo stuff. You do get that and the big band stuff, which is great, but you also get it's great fun.
Fun and music do go together so well, and I think that's an important part of it. And Todd, with this event and the Wombourne Civic on the 11th of November, obviously a poignant day as well, and the remembrance that sort of will be taking place across the country as part of Armistice and on the Sunday follows, remembering some amazing music and talent gone. It's still going to be a brilliant party, but probably a chance to sort of celebrate that as well as you're there for some amazing tunes that night.
It's all about variety of celebration. We say, any age group can come along. It's in the mood to uptown funk. I mean, and anything in between. Mainly people who remember, you know, the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, the back end of the 20th century. But it's amazing that it goes on from year to year, you know. And we had, like everybody else in the business, a major stumbling block with the COVID, because what we do, getting people together, having a good time, was exactly what wasn't required for almost 2 years. And so the whole of the business, live business, has suffered for that reason. Yeah.
Well, the event itself, as I say, is coming up on Friday the 11th. How do we get hold of tickets?
It's Keith Berry, I think, is the main administrator of it. I've not got his number to hand, but I'm sure you might have.
I absolutely have. You can give Keith a shout on 07899 565 302. That's 07899 565 302. And do check out the website for the Wombourne Civic Hall, and you'll be able to get tickets that way too. But it's going to be an amazing music night. And again, Leslie, have you got something that you're looking forward to singing on the night?
I just enjoy it all, really. I like being with the band, you know, again, and just enjoying the camaraderie and the music and the talented musicians and singers. It's just the whole thing for me. I really enjoy being back there. I still sometimes think I'm back in the 80s if I'm sitting by the side of the stage and I sort of sit there and they start playing some of the old, the big band stuff. I transport myself back sort of 40 years ago. It's really, really strange, but it's really good fun.
It's the fun, yeah. It's the fun element that makes the difference, isn't it? And Todd, what is it for you that's going to stand out?
Well, funny enough, it's the living on the edge point of view, because we don't have a strict program. We actually take requests on the night, but because we're all professional musicians and singers, and I've been for a long time. It's that side of it I enjoy. If somebody asks for something that you might not have done for 30 years, it's the, you know, living on the edge and sticking it up and just doing it.
Yeah, trying to remember the songs. I've done that a few times.
You know, Leslie, you know the rule. When in doubt, dance.
Yes.
Covers anything. Well, yes, it's going to be an amazing night. The Joe Loss Orchestra, the Golden Celebration, all taking place at the Wombourne Civic Hall. We've got an amazing talent just on this call, let alone how much is going to be on that stage on the night. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. But now, Todd Miller and Leslie Roberts Armitage, thank you both for joining us.
Lovely. Thank you.
Pleasure.
People come and people go. You gotta make each moment last. Soon comes the day we have faded away, and I know wherever I go, whatever they say, And you know, wherever you go, whatever they say, we did it in our own way. Come with me now, 'cause we've both grown up a gal. So come with me now, take my hand, and we'll fly far away. 'Cause it's harder to stay in a world where you can't say, I did it in my own way. 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 And love will find a way. 'Cause it's harder to say, I did it in my own way.
Brits on average take 8 attempts to get the perfect picture for social media, and men are worse than women when it comes to getting the images right. To tell us more, I'm joined now by the one and only Alexandra Burke. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. I hope we find you well.
I'm really good. Thank you for asking. Really, really good.
Fantastic. Now, over 18 million of us will delete a photo if the background reveals a mess, with 1 in 10 betraying friends and posting an unattractive image of them because they're in the same shot and it looks fantastic. And when this research done by Fujifilm does tell us some of our habits, and some of them are good and some of them are bad when it comes to putting our pictures online.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's this survey done by my Fujifilm for their Million Moments campaign is absolutely just astonishes me with the facts that they've found out, because, you know, so Brits, one of the facts are Brits take on average 8 attempts to get the perfect picture for social media. Well, let me tell you, hand on heart, and just telling you the truth, it's taken me so many more attempts to get that perfect picture. And I'm not going to lie to you. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's how social media at the moment has kind of trained us to make sure pictures are perfect. And in the last few months since giving birth, I have realized that you don't need to live in that world. And I've never liked the word perfect. You know, who decides what perfect is? You know, at the end of the day, we're all unique, we're all special in our own individual ways. And why not live in the moment? Why not just post that picture that you think has that, you know, wrong angle or has mess in the background or whatever it is, any excuse that why you wouldn't post it, you should just post it, because those probably are the photos that are the most authentic ones that you post.
Yeah, and it's ones that show you off as and the life you're living, and it can be a bit of fun. And yeah, the background in itself, it really just shows what's going on around you and the world in which you live. And
absolutely,
be authentic. And when it comes to those are the pictures which will give people an insight into who we are, and it's always good to share that with your friends. Now, if you're going a bit further afield, always watch your privacy settings online. But if it's just your mates, it's all good.
Yeah, I also think even if it's not, it's like, you know, we live in this world at the minute where social media is such a big thing. And I think what's great about this campaign is encouraging the younger generation to understand that actually you can show these true authentic moments without having to feel pressure of social media. And you know, these conversations have to start somewhere, otherwise we're all going to live in this little bubble of wanting things to be quote unquote perfect, which is not a reality at all.
Yeah, and I think it's the filters sometimes don't help, and the changes they make to pictures, and then we end up with the sort of negativity around body image when people get in unrealistic expectations or become insecure, and those are things which we shouldn't go through in life. We all are who we are, and we should all thrive on that.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. And I think, you know, once there is an understanding about that, things, you know, hopefully will change with people wanting to just show their true, authentic selves online. And don't get me wrong, like, you know, social media has its pros and cons. And I think that, you know, for the younger generation, it's really the time now to encourage them to understand that social media isn't the be all and the end all. You have to really take that on board, because it can be quite damaging at times.
So when it comes to pictures as well, though, I mean, my favourite way of enjoying photos is printed out on the wall or around the room. I'm not a fan of digital photo frames, but I do like to have selected photos, and even if you just print them out and then swap them around a bit and they have different pictures around, it's all nice to have something real and tangible to hold, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it's really funny because I have pictures everywhere. I print pictures all the time. So, like, even when I'm on tour and in my dressing rooms, I've always got pictures up. In my house, it's all framed. I've got photo albums. Like, I'm that kind of person that's got pictures on cups, on cushions. Like, I'm that person. So for me, I always like to look around and see a memory, and not just be consumed on my phones in order to achieve looking at that memory or to remember a memory.
And it is a nice way of sharing it as well, and particularly with Christmas on the way. It's a great way of sharing those memories from the last year, all those good moments, and your chance to say to someone, look, I enjoyed this moment, I enjoyed sharing it with you, here is a picture of us together.
Yeah, I think it's really, really beautiful. And, you know, because, like, even with the survey that my Fujifilm have done, 2/5 admit that they have previously lost photos that were stored on an electronic device. It's like, well, yeah, you could lose it. There's a chance that you could, but, you know, the likeliness of you losing your photo album is quite, you know, it's slimmer, because you probably could lose your phone dropping it down, you know, a drain, or, you know, just, you know, locking yourself out of a phone, which I've currently done, and locked myself out of a phone, and I can't get access to photos and memories. So, you know, these things, they do happen.
Yeah, and you can even get Instagram inspiration as well with the way in which the photos are printed. And they if you sign up to their newsletter, you get 20 free 6x4 prints as well. So it's a nice, easy way of getting into it to sort of be able to share something as soon as possible.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, it's so, for me, it's all about printing. I just think that old school way of being is the one for me, because there's nothing better than having the physical form in your hands.
And I suppose that with their personalised calendar range as well, you're somebody who already has a personalised calendar, aren't you? There'll be an Alexandra Burke official calendar out there, but you can create ones for the family too, which are even more special than the ones people buy of you from their local calendar shop.
No, it's really funny. I actually got one for Christmas last year, and it's one of my favourite things is to turn each month and see what different photo they picked of me, and it was actually one of my agencies that's done it for me. It was so brilliant. I still have it now, and it's great. It's downstairs in my hallway, and it's a nice little feature.
And I think I like the fact as well, as you mentioned having pictures on mugs. I like the fact you can get things like a printed water bottle as well with that family photo on it. It could be a reminiscence of a holiday from June or something, or July with glorious sunshine, and take it with you everywhere with water inside.
Yeah, and my Fujifilm actually give people access to be able to print stuff as well in their stores and stuff. So you can actually head down to one of their stores and actually print so many different options that you can do. Right, and online.
Where do we go for more information?
myfujifilm.co.uk for more information on their survey and their new competition that they have out, a Million Moments competition, in which they're asking the nation to share their very best moments before the memories. Like, this is amazing. You can win a host of prizes online.
That's well worth a check out too. And what are you up to at the moment? What are we expecting next? Back off maternity leave yet?
Oh gosh, I went back 2 months after giving birth. I probably went back very, very soon, but I'm enjoying it, and baby is thriving, and everything is wonderful. And I also have my new vinyl that's been released on November 18th from my first album, Overcome. It's now been released on vinyl to celebrate 1 million sales. So things are just in a happy, lovely little place.
That's one of your million memories, I suppose, isn't it?
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh yeah. I might even enter the competition with me holding the vinyl.
I think that'd be good.
Oh yeah.
Alexandra Burke, lovely to speak to you. Thank you for joining us, and keep enjoying taking your snaps.
Cheers. Thank you.
The wonderful world of Rod Bissett revolves around several theatre companies. Is he here now to tell me exactly what's going on? Because I think I've just missed a really good one. But there's going to be some more amazing stuff between now and Christmas, I'm going to guess. Rod, how you doing?
I'm all well. How are you doing, Jason?
Oh, we're coping, which is what counts. So what is going on then?
Well, as you've said, yeah, you have just missed us doing a month of Sundays, which was received very wonderfully by all of our audience. However, you can make it up to us by coming to see our next production, which is Agatha Christie's Go Back for Murder.
Ooh, okay. Explain the tale behind this one then, because sometimes Agatha Christie stories change title. What's the background to this?
So yeah, this one was originally written as a Hercule Poirot story, but for this version, he's been taken out and replaced with a completely different character. And so it centers around a lady called Carla Crail, whose mother was sent to prison and unfortunately died there for the murder of her husband, Amyas Crail. For her whole life, Carla has been convinced that her mother was innocent, and so basically seeks to pull all the people back who were there on that fateful day to try and work out exactly what happened and who was ultimately responsible for the death of her father.
Oh, that sounds amazing. That's rather good, isn't it? So we'll be able to see that one. Now, is this one Grange or is it Fellowship?
This one is a Grange production.
So Grange at the Grange Theatre. So that's 2 in 1 in that one. And because you're involved with Fellowship as well. And does that mean you got something else on the way with them?
No, I've not got anything to do with the Fellowship at the moment. Although they've got another Agatha Christie coming up in this sort of Easter time, where they're doing a play called Spider's Web.
Oh, so it's almost like a big extended season of Agatha Christie. It's taking place at the Grange Theatre, and then being done by 2 different companies who, as we said, you've got loads of crossover normally, haven't you? And you share members here, there, and everywhere.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So that's what to look out for. So Grange players, Grange Theatre. What are the dates?
So Go Back for Murder is opening on the 22nd of November and runs all the way through up until December 2nd.
So that's it, and that's kind of into when Panto season starts in the rest of the theatre world. So it sort of fits nicely just before all that sort of kicks off.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
An amazing cast, and say I still have to be. I embarrassingly still haven't had a chance to get over there. I will make sure I come to this one. Okay.
Oh, absolutely. You better do, others will hold you to that.
Okay, that's a promise. I will make it along to this one. We'll work out dates later on. We'll even do a review and everything. It'll be quite exciting. But
fantastic.
I think it is nice though that there is this theatre, this literally just down the road in Walsall, that has got brings it to life. And over in Sutton, the Sutton Arts Theatre, there's lots of these nice little groups which really are producing some fine quality shows. And it gives not only the chance for people to go along and see something they wouldn't normally see, because you can do these on a scale that works for the sort of size theatre you're running, and to run it for a few weeks and get a good number of people through and onto those seats with an experience that you just wouldn't get in a big theatre these days.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what we try and do is, although we are classed as amateur dramatics, that just means that we don't take a salary. We don't make it, us as actors or the backstage crew don't get paid for it. We do it because we love to do it. But that doesn't then mean that the quality that we put on for our audiences are any less.
And I know that with all the groups we have across the Midlands, whichever theatres they're performing at, admittedly, the actors aren't getting paid, but there is a cost of putting the theatre on, which is the reason you pay for your tickets, and also you pay the writers of the shows. But equally, it isn't. It's not professional. It is just not paid work, and there are lots of people in these groups who do paid work, and they drop into this to enjoy themselves and express their craft.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, we take everyone, of all abilities who just have an interest in theatre, whether they want to be on stage or just help out or put something back into their community.
And there's always a role for somebody somewhere. And even if they can't act to save their life, because I couldn't do that. I just can't. I don't get it. It just doesn't work for me. But some people, I can press buttons, obviously, so I could do sound if I wasn't for that. I'm too busy already. But, there's lots of things that people can do to get involved. Give us all the details on where we can find the show, those dates again, and, of course, the all-important tickets.
So if you go to our website, which is www.grangeplayers.co.uk, you will find all the links that you need to be able to get you booked onto your tickets and into your seats nicely on time.
That does the job. And it's going to be a great cast. And I will be there one of the nights. We'll work that out. But break a leg, have a brilliant time. Who do you play? Or is that spoilers?
No, I play the ill-fated Amyas Crail. So come along if you want to see me die on stage, not for the usual reasons I die on stage.
Okay. Good play on words. We will enjoy that. Thank you, as ever, Rod Bissett of the Grange Players.
Pleasure. Thank you, Jason.
Well, that's a lot for this week. Thank you so much for joining me back with episode 699 next week. I'll see you then. Ta-ra for now.
Goodbye from the milk bar. 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 Yeah. Goodbye from the milk bar. Yeah.